Well, continuing our season of interviews looking at Monitors for Kids at the launch here at Cycle 360, it's great because I've got Dr. Alex Allinson with a double sort of whammy here, because a doctor and a politician, because we're hearing that this is not supported yet by NHS, that kids have to, well, that's what this charity is all about. Your views on this?
What we're seeing here is new technology which enables people to take control of their own health. We know that type 1 diabetes really affects kids and young people far more, and it can be extremely debilitating. So this sort of technology not only gives better health outcomes, but empowers people to actually lead a normal life, and that's why I think it's really important. But as with lots of new technologies right at the start, it is expensive. It's the same with glucose monitors that used to cost a fortune, and now we give away. And so obviously the health service needs to look at it, make sure it's cost effective. But I'm sure that with the use of these sort of events and with the charity, we can increase the profile of these new technologies and get them into the mainstream.
It's a game changer, isn't it? Because the days of pricking your finger didn't really give an overall picture of what was happening during the day, and there's lots of instances people having hypos and things like that.
That's right. I mean, what we're doing here is continuous glucose monitoring. So not just the snapshot, but right the way through the day and night. And we know that certain people, particularly young people, are more susceptible to going hypo, which can be really difficult, and put them into a coma at night time, particularly if they've been at school and skipped a meal because they've been rushing around like young people do. So the safety aspect of this is great, but also it means somebody feels normal, that they're not constantly having to prick their finger and go into a corner to do it, and everyone asks them what's going on. And it's that normality, it's that allowing people to actually feel that they can live with the disease, that they can live with the condition, that they can overcome it, and it's not going to limit them, that I think is really important.
Is it something that the Isle of Man can do its own thing, change the laws, or do you just follow, is it come under NICE, for instance, or is that me being naive about it?
No, NICE is just guidelines, so we can do our own thing. Nobles have been really good at the introduction of insulin pumps. So instead of constantly injecting yourself, you get the continuous flow of insulin. And we know that better control leads to better outcomes. It means to less complications in terms of eye disease, kidney disease, heart disease. And so if we can get that really early, we can make sure people live to their proper life expectancy.
And it's about 400 young children on the Isle of Man are type 1, I believe, is that right?
Yeah. And again, there's a big difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Although they're both called diabetes, they're chalk and cheese. What we're dealing with here is a really debilitating disease whereby your body stops producing insulin completely. So tablets aren't going to help. You need to put that insulin in intravenously under the skin. And in this case, by using these sort of glucose monitors and some of the other technologies such as pumps, you can basically live a completely normal life without having to constantly worry that you can't do things.
Does it change to this situation, the Isle of Man, have to come from Tynwald? Will it just come from a committee, or the UK leading the way?
I think we do tend to look at best practice from NICE in the UK, which evaluates new technologies. But basically, when it comes down to the Isle of Man, the Department of Health look at their budget, look at some of these new technologies, look at the effectiveness, and then can roll them out. What this charity is doing is actually saying, let's get them into action now. Let's actually demonstrate that they've got a role and they're useful. And I think that's a really good way of starting the process of getting them far more mainstream for people that they suit.